I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Thanks for joining us on TCM for a night of movie affairs to remember. Up next, a drama directed by David Lean, but this is not the forbidden romance movie he is best known for, the sweeping epic Dr. Zhivago from 1965. This one is from Lean's pre-epic days, before The Bridge on the River Kwai and Lawrence of Arabia. This is a small British production from early in Lean's career with as deft a filmmaking touch as Dr. Zhivago or any of Lean's best-known films. It's a star-crossed romance between two ordinary people trying to maintain their integrity in the face of their unexpected passion for each other. From 1945, Brief Encounter. Based on a one-act play by Noel Coward, the story is set in a London suburb just before the Second World War. Celia Johnson and Trevor Howard lead the cast as Laura and Alec. She is a housewife, and he's a doctor she meets in a railway station restaurant. They strike up a friendship that gradually turns into something more significant. Since they're both happily married, they're deeply troubled by the depth of their connection, and they struggle mightily to contain it. They're English, you see, not French. The French would have left the station and checked into a hotel before dessert. If you haven't seen Brief Encounter, you might assume you know where it's headed, but I assure you there are no cliched or trite moments here. Noel Coward's play took place entirely in the train station. For this screen adaptation, David Lean knew he needed more, so he added outdoor scenes, supporting characters, and several essential touches to round out the story more cinematically. For example, Lean suggested the flashback storytelling structure with Celia Johnson narrating the film as Laura. There's also a recurring musical theme, Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2, highlighting the desire felt by these two outwardly stoic characters. Here's the film from 1945, nominated for 3 Oscars, including Best Actress for Celia Johnson, also with Stanley Holloway, Joyce Carey, and Cyril Raymond. David Lean's Brief Encounter. Writer-director Billy Wilder was a big fan of Brief Encounter. In particular, Wilder found himself drawn to the scene in the friend's apartment where Trevor Howard and Celia Johnson are prepared to take their relationship to the next level, but are interrupted when the friend comes home. The friend was pretty judgmental, but Billy Wilder felt sorry for him and thought that guy would make an interesting character. Wilder wondered how it would feel for the guy who crawls into that bed after the lovers have left. That question led Wilder and his writing partner at the time, Izzy Diamond, to write the Academy Award-winning dark comedy The Apartment, starring Jack Lemmon as a man who willingly loans his apartment out to execs at his company so he can climb the corporate ladder. Brief Encounter also inspired a gem of a romance released in 1984 called Falling in Love, directed by Ulu Grossbard and starring 2 of the finest actors around, Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep, as New Yorkers who connect on a commuter train. There have been many stage adaptations of Brief Encounter in London and on Broadway, where the film's screenplay has been combined with Noel Coward's original one-act play from 1936. Coward's story is also the basis of an opera. Additionally, there have been at least 3 adaptations of the story for television, including Trevor Howard reprising his role as Alec opposite Ginger Rogers in a 1954 episode of Producer's Showcase, as well as a 1974 TV movie starring Sophia Loren and Richard Burton. Coming up, Eddie Muller brings you this week's installment of Noir Alley. Eddie will have His Kind of Woman, starring the knockout combo of Robert Mitchum and Jane Russell. By the way, Eddie's kind of woman is the kind who excuses herself 12 minutes into their date and takes a cab home because she's never been so bored in her life. I feel the need to apologize to Eddie's wife, who is inexplicably awesome. Anyway, His Kind of Woman is next on Turner Classic Movies.
Next on TCM, His Kind of Woman, then Brainstorm, and later, The Great American Pastime. TCM goes into extra innings tonight.